Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to brand new TAT Pod. I'm your host, Ben, and today I am joined by a debutant on the podcast, Elliot. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing sound. Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Great to have you on, mate. Great to have you part of the team. And joining us as well is Shiggs. Oh, he's not ready. I'll give him a minute and then I'll get him back on. But yeah, we'll get Shiggs on as soon as he's ready. Let's give him a thumbs up. I assume he's ready to go. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. Sorry, I was just thinking, I had to pick up my daughter. So
no worries at all, mate. No worries at all.
How we doing? Are we good?
Yeah, man. Well, apart from the football, everything's good, bro. That's how it seems to be this year for me. But
I hear it.
Just a quick thing as well. The last few podcasts haven't been on Spotify. That's something on our end. I had to delete some of the recordings. So that's my fault. That's on me. But this one and the future podcasts will be available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as they usually are. So if that is your preferred choice, you can catch us on there. Shiggs is just sorting his camera out. But guys, we're going to get straight into it. Shiggs, you're going to have to forgive us, mate, because we've done this podcast a million times, haven't we? I was just talking to Elliot. We've been in this exact same position where we've gone against a good team, a good side, a big game. We've got to win.
Yeah.
We've been deluded enough to think, oh, you know what? We might actually do something now. And then we just get a big slap in our face. We're humbled. Yeah. And you know what, Shiggs? We're actually foolish enough to keep thinking it. It's gonna if we beat Man City at the Etihad, we're gonna think it again.
We keep thinking. We need that hit, man.
So, Shiggs, we'll start from the beginning. We'll make our way through. We usually start from the team news. Let's go back to the start. Yeah. So it's 11:30 on Saturday morning. The team news comes out. I think there's one change, isn't there? I think Stefan comes in for Henderson. What are your thoughts, mate?
I was kind of disappointed. I can't believe I'm saying this. I was kind of disappointed that Henderson didn't start. But apart from that, I couldn't fault it because Elliot played well against United, deserved his place. But I just thought it's a 12:30 kickoff. We don't normally play well in these things. You need a captain. And I'm going to get onto Virgil later, but we need a captain. So. But apart from that, I wasn't too disappointed. That was the only change I didn't understand. But I get it. Fair enough. I was happy with the lineup. I don't know how you lot felt about it.
Yeah, I mean, Elliot, what was your thoughts, mate? I mean, I saw a lot of stuff about the midfield and the lightweight of it, and
yeah, I think that was kind of my thought. My first thought is one change is fine after obviously the weekend before, but I just think there's the whole experiment thing with Elliot as well. I know he played very well against United, but then there's always the kind of debate: is he a midfielder, is he a winger? And especially alongside Bajcetic, who's young himself and kind of weak himself against the Bournemouth side, who want to dominate the midfield, and especially considering it's been Liverpool's weak point this season. I do agree with you, Shiggs. Henderson probably should have been in that starting lineup.
Yeah,
I agree. Completely agree with both of you there. I think it's easy to sit here and speak on Henderson and how it's been this season. Fabinho as well. But I feel like for these away games against, let's be honest, a very physical side, especially in the midfield, I wasn't sure about the midfield in that game. But, it's nothing against Stefan. It's nothing against Harvey. They've both been, in my opinion, really good this season. I know there's a weird agenda on Harvey Elliott, but it is what it is. We'll see. We'll go on and talk about players individually more and more as we go along. And Carl there says, it's easy to get up for the big games, but the smaller teams is how you win a league or get top four. Shocking mentality. And that's going to be a big part of this podcast. We're going to get onto the mentality side of things once we've discussed the game. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about Madrid tomorrow and what the rest of the season might hold for us. And just quickly, side note, on this Jude Bellingham thing, there's not really an update. It's just the Spanish press doing what they do best, just looking for clicks. So we'll see what happens in the summer.
After that performance on Saturday, I wouldn't be surprised if you said, "No, you're right, lads."
No, I disagree. I don't think we'll be put off. But anyway, we might get on to Jude at some point later in the podcast. But Equinox, thanks for tuning in, mate. Let's get things started then, boys. I mean, we started the game on the front foot, and I was actually quite optimistic because there was chances. The biggest one of the lot was Virgil's header, which was cleared off the line by Jefferson Lerma. And
you know what? Just quickly, Ben. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw we were playing in that white kit, my confidence levels
There's
went
a reason
down,
why I
bro.
don't have it, bro. You see
That kit, yeah. Ever since United tapped us in the preseason game 4-0, that kit is I hate it when we play.
It was before then, mate. As soon as I seen our first kit, I thought that can't be the kit.
Yeah.
That can't be the kit. Like Nike, surely not. But it was, and
sorry,
I was
guys.
just
I
bad
had to put
vibes
that
ever
in.
since it was. No, you're right. You're spot on. Let's just get rid of this kit and wear this lovely green one that's right behind me.
Yeah.
But, anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, the game started. We had a couple chances. Virgil's header was cleared off the line, and Elliot, when you see, us starting off quick and getting chances, and it's easy to think like, oh, we're actually going to be all right here. But do you think there's a case to be had where this team this season, when we started off on the front foot, which we have a few times this season, but it's not quite gone in, they I don't know, they just sort of get a bit naive and think, oh, we'll score anyway sometime soon, or what is it that just makes us think like we're not going to score?
I do think there's maybe a bit of underlying arrogance there, because I think you're going back a long way now. When you think of the seasons where Liverpool won the league and won the Champions League, they had the right to be arrogant, and they had the right to be arrogant last season, but you saw it fading away in the last few months of last season. I think it's fair to say, and I think there still is an underlying arrogance, and maybe it comes from the management, maybe it comes from the players on the pitch. But as you said, we started off well, and I was excited. Nunes, Gakpo have been against United. They were really nice to watch, and it was fun. And Gakpo's like getting involved so much, getting in that deeper role, and it's exciting. And you think, yeah, you know what, Liverpool might just take Bournemouth and just absolutely rip them to shreds. But then, maybe the arrogance comes in, and the naivety comes in, and they think, oh, we'll win this anyway. But then they can't cope with Bournemouth actually showing off.
That's it, mate. We can't cope. And let's just get straight in there, Shigs. Elliot, he nails it there. We couldn't cope with Dom Solanke as Trent Alexander-Arnold fought out. He played a terrible switch pass. And this is before the goal, by the way. So the warning signs were there for this team, for the manager, for everyone to see. What's that lad's name? Was it Dango?
No. Was it Bennett? No,
Dango, the guy that tried to take it past Allison and from the tight angle.
Yeah.
Dango.
Yeah.
So that chance before the goal, mate. The warning signs were there, weren't they? For Virgil van Dijk, for Trent, for everyone, Robertson. So Trent's tried to switch the ball across the pitch. I think it was Solanke who takes it past Virgil, like he wasn't even there. Just plays a ball into Dango, who's just around the whole length of the pitch. Tried to take it around Allison, and fortunately, he's missed it because of the tight angle. So at that point, Shigs, right, you're thinking, okay, we've seen this before, haven't we? At what point does there have to be changes there? Because it was pretty early on in the game, mate, where they looked worrying.
Get what I'm going to do a Guardiola impression now. Twice before that. So the one that was just offside and that one. At some point, I'm trying to be composing because I'm going to lose it. Like what I was saying earlier in terms of what I said about I wanted Henderson to start. I'm sorry. Van Dijk, you're the captain.
We'll get on to Van Dijk, bro. We'll get on to Van Dijk.
No, before that, before we're going to get into the goal, because I'm going to unleash on that guy for the goal. But before the goal, you are the captain. You are the one that says, right, this guy they keep doing long ball and we keep getting beat. Let's drop for the next 10 minutes. Let's drop a little bit deeper so they're not running in behind. Because it was clear to see our midfield, they weren't able to control the game. After that, the header was cleared off the line. It's like Bournemouth grew in confidence and belief, and they started just attacking us. And it's just like, okay, regardless of whether it's bottom of the league, Bournemouth. You've seen Southampton went to Chelsea and won there.
Well, we've lost to Forest, mate, and Leeds when they were both bottom as well.
Right. Let's listen. Hey, drop back a little bit. Let's make sure we're compact, and let's try and just see out this 10 minutes, and then get back on top. But we didn't do that, and it was just like it just snowballed from there, and then. Kanate, you thought Kanate was the older defender in that game. Or was that just me?
No, I agree. And I think there's a good point there, just touching on the point you make about no matter if they're 20th place. And Elliot, like, what is it? Because these teams, right, in my opinion, away from home, like, they're gonna leave that pitch with no regrets on there because they're fighting for every single possible point they can get. And it's like we just go into these games and think, you know what, we're gonna roll these over. And it's just when you're coming up against a team that are fighting for their life, you can't have that sort of mentality, can you?
No, not at all. But I do think if you want to take away maybe the mentality type of thing, I do think it comes from the setup. Still, I think I mentioned before, Bajcetic and Elliott next to each other. I think you have the chance early on, and then Bournemouth gain confidence, as you said, Shigs. But you have maybe a Henderson in there, or even a Milner. I know Milner gets criticised quite heavily, but I think maybe you have him in there, maybe next to Elliott. You have someone stopping the original balls coming through to Fabinho, and then you have Liverpool on the front foot already. They're cutting through with the high press. Maybe the mentality is there. I do agree that is some sort of issue this season. I've been quite shocked by it. But looking at the setup purely, I do think it's maybe wrong at times against those teams at the bottom of the table.
Did you see when Elliott bounced off Billings? Was it Billings? When he bounced off him, I said,
long day. Well, after that, you know what? Like, there was a couple of chances there, but we actually had a bit of promising play, and Elliott pings one into Nunes, who heads it down to Gakpo, and it's offside, unfortunately. And at that point, you're thinking, oh, you know what? We're actually starting
to a matter of time.
Get a bit of momentum behind us. But again, Shigs, it doesn't go in. And it's like a tennis match at this point. Both teams trying to get a goal. And one simple ball for our defenders that we have seen time and time again this season. Crystal Palace, when Zaha scored, all of these type of teams that play against us, all it takes is one simple ball through our defense, which, by the way, let's point out, used to be the most robust defense. It used to be the most solid defense, most compact defense, the most perfect defense that I've seen in my lifetime at Liverpool. I know that's not really hard, by the way, in 25 years. We've had some terrible defenses. But Shigs, what is it, mate? Why is it so easy for? So let's break it down. It was one simple ball for all of the defenders. Dango, who we already know has caused us problems. It was Robertson and Virgil both at fault for this, in my opinion. I think more so Virgil van Dijk than Robertson. And then he puts the ball in. Kanate miskicks it. I'm not going to blame him. Yeah. And then there's a tap in. So I know you're going to go heavily on Virgil, and rightfully so. But my question to you, mate, is why is it so easy for teams to score this kind of goal against players that we've been calling world class for the last 6 or 7 years?
Attitude, application, arrogance, to name a few. There's no, I know you saw the goal. I was fuming. If that's De Bruyne, if that's Odegaard, if that's Rashford, do you think Van Dijk is stopping and letting the guy run past him?
No.
I don't understand. And this is what goes back to what I was saying about you're the captain. You're wearing the armband and you leave it to somebody else to defend. No, I don't understand that. I don't think people are realizing how big of a moment that is. And it's not like he pulled up with an injury. He literally slowed down, and the guy's running into the air. I can't get on Robertson because Robertson's on the outside of him, and there's not really much he can do. The ball's come over. The guy spun you, and you've left the guy and let him run on. What's going on here? And you're meant to be one. And for the past 3 or 4 years, he was one of the best defenders. And I'm not taking that away from him, but that's a lack of application. That's a lack of effort. There's no excuse for that. If you get beat by someone doing a skill and stuff like that, it happens. You're a defender.
Yeah, of course.
But you stopped running. You stopped. I can't blame Kanate. Kanate tried to block the pass.
Yeah, it's not on him. Yeah,
the ball shouldn't even got that far.
Exactly, and that's what I want to come in. Like, Elliot, in your opinion, when Dango gets the ball, and this is an issue I've pointed out for years with our team, and this is why I think Fernandinho was such an underrated player for Man City. Right, I always come back to Fernandinho and players like him. They take the man out on the halfway line and take a yellow card. And we don't have that, I think the word they say on the streets now is dog.
Yeah.
We don't have that in our players.
No. I think that was probably the only criticism I think I could probably really think of now. And I think remember saying at the time when Liverpool went on to win the Champions League and the title and those mental seasons with the 90 points, Liverpool didn't have that. They still don't have that. And that goes back to the lack of investment in the midfield. It goes back to maybe even just a teller, like teach them it. I know Guardiola's one of the most snide managers in the league with that. And it's fantastic to watch when you're a neutral and not when you're a Liverpool fan and seeing City having to win every game. They win it and they just stop all these attacks. Liverpool had warning signs. They needed to, like, Real Madrid game, the 5-2. When Fabinho loses that ball and possesses who's running alongside Madrid, all you need to do is boot him. And it sounds harsh, but it's what football is. Give them one. And the Liverpool team, only Milner, I think. I only think Milner can do that. I remember Milner coming on against Newcastle, obviously only a few weeks ago, and he just started nailing players. And it's fantastic. It's fantastic to watch because he's been thrown on there and he's been told go and do it. Why can't all the others do it as well? It frustrates me as well. I think that is one of the biggest criticisms for the midfield. Obviously, there's a few issues with that midfield, but that is one. That's the biggest one, I think.
That's 100%. What I was saying about this is why I was disappointed Henderson, because no matter what anybody says about Henderson, you give your all. And Henderson would have berated Van Dijk if he had done it, if he'd been on the pitch and done that.
Well, it goes back to the United game at Old Trafford, doesn't it? When Milner gave him one. I think, Milner and Henderson aren't scared to do that, and so they shouldn't be.
No, absolutely. And that's something I need to see more from the team. And I think Mo puts it perfectly. I think this is spot on. It should be either Stefan or Elliot, not both. I agree with that. And I don't know. I don't know what the thinking was. To be fair, there was a long time between the games, so surely I think Henderson was actually ill, wasn't he? I think Klopp mentioned.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, I just realized.
Okay.
Something. I think I read he had a cold, didn't he? So
yeah, something like that. So maybe that's the reason.
But he still came on.
Yeah, he did.
Just one thing with that, and you can tell me if it's different. If a player is not 100%, I'd rather him start and come off rather than, especially Henderson. Like, again, I'm not Henderson's biggest fan, but like when it comes to him having the armband on, the team still has this. I know the Madrid game is an outlier, but the team tends to have a little bit more of, okay, shit, I can't really put a foot wrong because I'm gonna get berated. I don't get that same sense for Van Dijk. I don't.
I think that goes alongside the context of the game though as well, because I think Bournemouth, Liverpool went on a good run. There's a few wins there. The context of the game is Liverpool should just put Bournemouth aside like it's nothing. So I think that goes alongside the context, which goes back to the attitude issue, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Elliot, we're gonna come to one of the worst moments of the game now, mate. Second half. In fact, no, we'll skip over the subs. We'll come back to the subs a bit later on because I've got a lot to say about the subs. But Jota's on the pitch. He gets his chance at the back post. Good header. It's going in. They've handballed it. We rightfully get the penalty. Salah, who he scored in a Champions League final. He scored in shootouts. He scored so many penalties. But for some reason, mate, I'm never convinced. When he steps up, and I said to my brother, because we watch every single game together, whether we're in the ground or at home, wherever, we always watch it together. I said to him, and this is no word of a lie, I said to him, this is not going to happen because he's the club penalty taker, but I would rather Milner take this penalty because Salah, he's barely had a sniff. He's going to want this like so much. And I'm like I say, mate, he's got an incredible goal scoring record, but I don't know if it's just me, but I'm never sold on Salah when he takes penalties.
Yeah, well, I think it was before the season Liverpool went on to win the league. Before that season, I was very much the same with that. I was always very nervous. I remember Cardiff when Milner and Salah, going back a few years now, but Milner and Salah kind of had little arguments on the pitch about who should be taking it. And at the time, I was thinking, obviously, it's Milner. Then Salah changed his run-up to the run-up we saw on Saturday, which he put it wide. But that run-up always makes me feel much more confident when he just smashes it in the Champions League final. I always felt a bit more confident. I always do now. But if Milner's on that pitch, it's Milner 10 times out of 10, and I can't believe it isn't. But I read that Salah's now the club penalty taker, and it has been for the past 2 years, and that was news to me.
Shigs, do you share that same sentiment? Do you still, when Salah, like we must emphasize, right? His goal scoring record from the spot is incredible. But do you feel confident when he steps up?
I couldn't believe it when he missed. I couldn't believe it.
Why is he trying to go top bins?
Bro, it didn't even. I kid you not. I kid you not. I was sitting there like this.
I thought it went in because the goalkeeper goes one way. So when I saw that it's going that way, I was like, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, bro. I sat down in my living room thinking, how? He's not even hit the chart. And it wasn't even like, okay, sometimes you would skin the post or something like that. It was nowhere.
Some kid in the back row has got the match ball.
So to do this in the crowd.
He's never done that, Tyler, either, has he? Which I think he's never done that. And I was shocked even more so because there's getting it saved, which has happened a few times. But
as soon as he missed that,
that was it. Now you know what, Shakes? This is backtracking now. This is going back to when it was 1-0. When they scored the first goal, I knew the most we were going to get from this game was a point.
Do you know this season we ain't come back from a goal down?
Is that true?
Yeah,
that's crazy. What, to win or to
win or to even because we used to do it on a regular basis. The amount of times I'd be out on Sky Sports or we 1-0 down and we end up winning the game 2-1. Like you just knew it.
Yeah, but mate, like I say, this is how far this team's fallen. This is how far like my trust for these players has gone down because I'm not you, mate. I was saying on the space the other day, the year where we won the league. I was on that space and Watford, Watford did this 3-0. I was watching it with a group of my mates, and even at 2-0, I was like, we're gonna come back, we're gonna win this game. And like now, it's like, as soon as we go 1-0 down to a low block side, to a team that are fighting,
long day,
taking a point from the situation,
and
that's bad, Shigs.
But then, who do you? And I always try to be careful in terms of who do I blame, but at some point,
it's a joint thing. It's everything,
a culmination of things that we're saying.
The players, the manager, and the owners, all three of them this season for me.
Okay, but still though, it's. Why even when we won the league and we were doing well in the league, like we always struggle when teams just said, "All right, come and break us down."
Mm-hmm. Trent Alexander-Arnold, this is why he's so good because and we'll get on to him in a bit. Yeah, exactly, and he's literally. You can probably say Thiago as well, but when we have him, it's like a miracle. But it's like he's literally our only creative spark, and this is the problem, Shigs. We've been saying the same thing since 17-8. Well, when we had Coutinho, we weren't saying it, but 18-19, 19-20, yes, we get wins. Yes, we're winning titles, but there's still that lack of creative spark, and it's all good when you're winning leagues and you're on top and you're in the best form of your life. But as soon as things start to go a bit pear-shaped, you need a bit more than a Trent Alexander-Arnold cross.
Yeah, and plus at the time when he used to do it, we didn't really have the tool. We had Mane, Jota, and Salah. They're not really the tallest strikers you're ever going to get in the league, so you have to be pinpoint. But it's I don't know, like because it did change a little bit when they brought on Jota, because I was surprised when he brought on Jota. And then I thought Gakpo was going to come off. So he kept Gakpo and then put Joe. And I know if I'm getting ahead of myself. But we had the four. And Gakpo was getting the ball and being able to run at people. And it was causing problems. Yeah. But I think by then it was just, they just hunkered down and said, you shall not pass. No, some Gandalf style kind of thing.
Yeah, look, just going back to that creative point, mate. What's your take on that? Do you feel like there needs to be some sort of creative spark brought in the summer?
I think... Listen, I don't think it was ever an issue as much as maybe people who love a big transfer made out in the season. Liverpool were playing the football that got everyone off their feet because Klopp had his system and everyone could see that system. It was so clear to see that those midfielders were not there to create. They were there to help the fullbacks and cover them fullbacks. And it was so much fun, especially Wijnaldum in them big games. He was so good to watch. Now you look at the squad this season, you've seen Elliott play every single game. He's not that midfielder. So is he moving away from that? If you're going to move away from that, move away from it properly. Don't shoehorn players into a system where they can't play it.
Yeah.
Even though, and I'm not criticizing Elliott in any way, shape, or form. I think he should have a big future, whether it's at this club or not. I'm not too sure. But he should have a big future. He's so young and he's playing every game for Liverpool. You've got to have something. But that goes back to even Bajcetic right now. Are they the players for that system? Bajcetic might go and develop into one of the best midfielders in the world. We're not too sure yet. But you're shoehorning players into a system where you've relied on other players in the past, and I don't think it works.
No, absolutely, and
Yeah.
this is why I think you can look at the lack of signings that came in. I think just bringing Artur Melo in was a disgrace, to be honest.
Panic, pure
But
panic.
yeah,
that
exactly.
one.
Because, like you say, mate, we've had to. I think the starters Harvey's played in every single Premier League game, which is nuts for
Ridiculous.
19-year-olds. Well, I say centre mid, but we all know naturally he
Yeah.
isn't a centre mid. So it's like
Mhm.
I agree with you, Elliot. Like this, it's so easy to ridicule Harvey. And has he been absolutely fantastic out of the wood this season? No,
I don't
but
think any of
I
them
didn't.
have been so.
No, exactly, and I didn't expect him to be because he,
No,
like we
of
say, we're
course.
relying on this kid. We've got Naby, who's not in the squad anymore because he's off. Oxlade Chamberlain, who God knows what's happened to him. Artur, who's been injured for the whole season. Curtis Jones, I think he's had injury problems as well. Thiago, who's made of glass. So it's like we've got the numbers, which I think was Klopp's point pre-season, but the reliability, like you can't trust the players that we went into the season.
Yeah,
with.
I never. For me, Curtis Jones isn't a Liverpool player. He's still.
This is the problem, Shigs. If we invested in the right way, realistically, we could have loaned him out.
Yeah,
or even sold him.
I would have sold him because I think he's still living off that Everton.
Yeah, and his stock was a bit like, I'm not saying we would have been able to get an absolute fortune for him, but like I think at the start of the season, if you sell him, you're looking at 30 mil maybe because of the height.
Hey, listen,
I think so, and the
English
English
I'm
tax.
biting off their hand.
Mate, we got 20 for Rhian Brewster.
Yeah, I think you could. That's a 20-30 million in that bracket for Jones. I think it's
Is
a certainty.
I listen. If someone offered me Curtis Jones, 15 mil max is what I pay for him. 15, and that's
Well,
I think Shigs, I think you'd be surprised, honestly.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons with Jones is staying, and you've just listed off a few midfielders there, and you can almost say it's quantity over quality. But one of the big problems, which I think everyone, including myself, I did in January, you overlook is the English quota. We need English players.
Oh, is that part of it as well?
There's a reason why Klopp has had to keep hold of some of these players. There's probably a reason why Milner might be getting an extension.
What?
Is to fill that. I think that is genuinely part of the reason why some of them
Milner's going to get an extension.
I want him to.
Possibly.
Nah, bro.
I don't want him to play.
He needs to be part of the coaching staff now. Bro.
Yeah, that's my thing. I want Milner to get an extension, not necessarily to play. I mean, he could come in for Carabao Cup games when you're playing like a lower league side. But the problem with Milner, and we've said this before, Shigs, is when we offered him that deal, we've actually scammed him if you think about it, right? Because we lowered his wage, I believe. We gave him way less money. And I think Milner was led to believe that he was going to have some sort of like role in the club where it's more for morale and maybe not playing many games. But because of all the injuries that we've just mentioned there, we've actually had to play him. So he's done himself out of some money, yet he's played more than what he was playing at when he was on his full contract. So, listen, I want Milner to stay around for whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch, because I think if you're bringing in all these new players in the summer, which I think we're all hoping we do, because let's face it, we need it.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you bringing in players?
What, players or Jude?
Players, Jude or players?
We're 100% bringing in players. I don't care what anybody says. There is no logical way, because... Sorry, I'm going on here, but let me just say this, yeah. FSG are money men, and if they're going to sell the club, if they're not going to sell the club, whatever, but they know that they want their club to be at the highest possible value at all times, right? Yeah. If they don't bring in players in this summer, this club, we're not competing for top 4, we're competing for top 7, because that, honestly, you see all the other teams improving, and we'll just be stuck with the same players. It's not going to happen. Whether it's Jude, whether it's someone on that stature, or whether it's 4, 5, 6 that are around that 30, 40 million mark, which I think, to be honest, a lot of people have said they wouldn't be against that. They will spend 100% in the summer. There's no logical way as to why they won't. We've got 3 players leaving.
They're lining up investments as well. I think the lining up investment has been a lot of. I know the whole, you're meant to be selling.
Elliot, you've just frozen out, mate. I don't know if you can still hear us.
There you go.
Oh, you're back. Yeah, he's back. You
Hello.
just
Sorry.
froze for a minute there. Sorry.
Sorry.
Just,
Sorry.
the last 20 seconds of that, you probably have to repeat again.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. There was obviously the whole thing FSG selling the club, but I think that obviously that's been put to bed now, and it looks like there'll be investment, and they should spend. I'd be very, very surprised if the players don't get brought in and money doesn't get spent this summer.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good point from Mo. When the Klopp signed that deal, I think he was given assurances, whether it was the summer just gone or we're going to get you Jude or whatever. I don't know what it would have been, but there's no way he stays around if he's not confident that he can rebuild this club to at least give it another shot for the Premier League and the Champions League under his reign. I just don't see it. But we're just going to quickly go back to the game, guys, just real quick before we move on to Real Madrid. I want to talk about the substitutions, and there's one particular substitution that boiled my blood. And I love Jurgen Klopp more than the next man. You know, I get told off because of I will never criticize him. I just love that man. That man can do anything to me, and like I wouldn't care. Like the substitution that boiled my blood, and I want to hear your guys' take on it, is giving Fabio Carvalho 2 minutes at the end of this game because a week ago we were 5-0 up against Man United with 15 minutes left. Didn't get a go. Other games this season, he's not had a look. But in the game where it's inevitably fading away because he's taken off Trent for Milner, he's done all these other weird subs. And then right at the end, you give Fabio Carvalho 2 minutes. Shigs, I want to hear your thoughts first, mate. I just want, like, what was the thinking behind that?
I have no idea.
This kid that doesn't get a look in, you're bringing him on when the game is pretty much done?
In my opinion, Carvalho is a better player than Elliot. In my opinion,
I can't tell you, mate. I've not seen enough of him.
I think he's a better player.
No, yeah,
I can't. I'm sorry, I can't.
But from what I saw when he was playing at Fulham,
at Fulham,
that Fulham team that got things revolved around him. Now people might say, "Oh, it's a championship," but still, for 8, how old is he? 19?
19 or 20, I think.
For a champ, and the championship is a rough and tumble league.
20.
So for you to be the center of the team to work, and then that happens, and then Elliot's getting played for, like, could you imagine if Carvalho had been given the chances that Elliot's been given? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why.
It's just weird.
Okay, maybe if you don't want to play in that much in that same position, just give him opportunity. You saw what he did. What at Newcastle? If it's not for him, we don't win the game. Like, and I get Elliot's won games for us as well against Wolves, but why has he not had the same kind of airtime? For the life of me, I don't understand. And I think that's a bit. I
think he was out of order. I'm going to be honest.
He could never do that. But I would have been like, no, I'm not going on. For what?
Elliot, do you have any ideas?
It's for a 2-minute substitution. I don't think there should be too much kind of uproar, but I do agree that maybe it's very harsh on him to throw him into a game that Liverpool are going to inevitably lose. But I think it's more interesting that Jota gets brought on as a front four, and then Carvalho is getting the chance. Because how do you see that system with Diaz coming back? It's got to be a front four, surely. So surely then Carvalho gets much more of a chance. So I feel like maybe if you want to look into it a bit more deeper, but as I've just said, it's a 2-minute substitution. Maybe I'm overthinking it as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure. But I think a front four, if you're going to do the front four, Carvalho gets much more opportunities. And if he's going to move that system in the summer, it'd be very interesting to see how much more opportunity Carvalho gets.
Yeah, fair enough. I just thought it was a bit harsh because there was a better opportunity to bring him on against Man United for at least 20 minutes in that game. He didn't get a sniff.
Yeah.
And he's come on there where, let's be honest, no one's going to do anything. But anyway, big up Asim from Born and Red, our good friends, saying Anfield Talk is his favourite. You're our favourites, mate. Hope you're well, mate. Guys, that's before we go on to Real Madrid, please smash the like button if you haven't already, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single stream. Elliot, Real Madrid, mate. What are we saying? Because we've had Mohamed and he's not here today. I wish Mohamed was here because he's been telling us that there's a chance if we get an early goal, it changes. What are you saying, mate?
I think if it was a 2-goal deficit, I'd be slightly optimistic of Liverpool maybe pulling something out of the bag. But I think the way Real Madrid bullied that Liverpool team in the first leg at Anfield in the most disrespectful manner I have seen in the Klopp era. I don't think there's any chance at the Bernabeu. And I think that's as blunt as I can put it.
You can win on the night.
I can't see it though. I think Ancelotti had Klopp where he wants them at Everton, and that's not something which has happened in our lifetimes a lot. So to have Klopp where he wants him at Everton and to get a win at Anfield at Everton, I don't think he has a chance, Klopp, against Ancelotti at Real Madrid, which you've seen twice in the past year now.
Speaking of Mohammed, he is in the building. Enjoying the stream, guys. I cannot be there. Big up you, mate. We need your positivity for this game for tomorrow. Because I'm running on empty, bro. I've got, as Ian Beale once said on EastEnders, I've got nothing left. So big up you, mate. Shigs, do you share that same sentiment, mate?
Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess. You know what it is? You know what it is? Like, if we're the one against Bournemouth, I can say, you know what? We may not go through, but at least we can go there with some confidence and maybe win the game. But after that performance against Bournemouth, bro, Solanke was bodying Van Dijk. Van Dijk is trying to change shirts before they've even finished the match.
This is a thing as well I meant to say about Virgil. This is why I'm a bit worried about him, because I've never seen him defend like Nemanja Vidic before. And by that, I mean grappling players, pulling shirts, desperation to keep up with them. I've never seen Virgil. I've only seen Virgil drop off a bit. Okay, try beat me. Try get past me. But,
that's my point. Like, I hope. You know what? I just hope. I can't believe I'm saying this. I just hope there is a respectable score by the end of the match. That's all I'm hoping for, bro. Anything else after that is
keep
a
it
bonus.
Single figures on aggregate. Is that what you're saying?
Bro.
I think
I have no faith in this. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't have no faith in them to get a result there. And hopefully they prove me wrong, but I just don't see it, bro. There's no conceivable thing where they don't score.
Yeah, but I think you mentioned the Bournemouth game and a loss, and it's kind of like taking away the confidence. If you want to try your best to flip that in a positive light, it could be the best game for them to react to. Is my
4-0. We have to beat them 4-0 to go through.
It isn't that, obviously. That's a very, very tough task, but it could be the best game for them to react and even get a respectable victory there. Obviously, again, 4-0.
Sorry, Klopp. I know I'm doubting you, bro, but it's sticky wicket.
Look at this
right
comment,
now,
man. Look at this comment. That Phillips right back attempt to smash Vinny. Listen, somebody needs to stop that guy, man. This guy, I don't know what we did to this kid, but honestly, he hates us.
He's got a vendetta against us, this Vinicius guy.
It is, mate. But Mohammed says Real Madrid could see chances, and it is really possible if we could keep the ball and defend well in moments. And Elliot, do you think? I know we're a bit down in the dumps because we lost to Bournemouth, but I think he was alluding to it that this is the sort of like that maybe the best sort of game for us. Do you think, because even if you take Real Madrid out of the equation, we've got Real Madrid, City, Arsenal, Chelsea. Don't know if it's in that order. Yeah. Probably is. I don't know. But do you think these teams that are actually gonna come at us? We have played back. Look, I must emphasize this.
I know what you're gonna say.
We're gonna come back, but do you believe that for us now, these are the teams that we have to be playing? Teams that are going to concede chances, that are going to be a bit more open, that we can counter against?
I think it makes total sense that those are the teams that Liverpool are probably at the moment playing the best against. And I think it goes back to when Klopp's first couple of seasons, when Liverpool were in the situation they're in now and challenging for top four. They struggled with low blocks, but they were fantastic to watch against teams who were open. And it's almost acceptable to say that, I think, because Liverpool are definitely in a transition phase, and they were in a transition phase back then. So you've got to compare them situations and think, you know what, maybe Liverpool are okay. They've went like that, but they've went well downhill. But the right track is maybe there, because the right track was there going back to Klopp's first couple of seasons when they were also in that transitional phase. So I think the Madrids, the Chelseas, the Arsenals, the Cities, especially for the crowd at Anfield, I think it could really help them. I know only one of those games is at Anfield as Arsenal, but I think it's something for the players. They need to feed the crowd needs something. even the away crowd, and I think it could be the best chance. But 4-0, when you say it like that, I'm always thinking of 3, because that's obviously only extra time. When you say 4-0, it's a much more scary thought.
And plus to stop them from scoring. There's
that slight problem as well.
I could see us scoring, but it's the flip side of, because Modric just strolled past our midfield, bro.
And he's about 40 years old.
Bro, this is my point. And like, even when I kid you not, even when we were 2-0 up, I didn't feel easy. I didn't.
I'm gonna put my hands up. I was thinking this is gonna be different. We've rattled them. We've got them where we want them. I
do agree with you there,
there was a ball played over to Vinicius, and Trent was running after him. I started getting PSTD, bro. I was just like, I can't even pronounce it.
Anfield, though, isn't it? It's Anfield European night.
And this is Anfield. It's not even like it was in the Bernabeu. Like, they came to our end and said, "All right, lads, let's play them a new one."
Yeah, Shigs, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be the Divock Origi of this fixture?
Because
that's your boy, man. We need somebody.
Yeah, but we ain't even got him to do the thing, bro. I don't know.
If there is a hero, who's gonna be the Divock Origi? Nunes for me.
It's got to be Nunes. It absolutely has to be Nunes. He's the one who can cause all the havoc in the world.
And he does wear 27 as well. So
there we go, mate. There we go. I even bought, after that United game, I had to buy the shirt. I was thinking about it for a long, long time. I was like, you know what? I've seen enough. I'm getting this shirt now. Mo says Jota, big piece as Leighton Stewart. Wow.
You got to go on the weekend.
Yeah. Let's talk about, just to wrap things up, guys. There was a transfer link yesterday. I'm going to try and get it up from a reliable journalist claiming that Liverpool are the best. Wait, I'll read it word for word so I don't get it wrong. Liverpool are understood to be the most serious suitor for João Palhinha, but other clubs are interested too. Fulham value the midfielder at 60 million.
God damn.
Shigs, I'm going to come to you, mate. From what I've seen,
60 mil.
From what I've seen of Palhinha, I think he's a sensational midfielder that would. Listen.
Mil,
listen. He would improve our midfield.
60 mil.
Yeah, Shigs. He's 28 though.
60 mil.
That's
bro.
what I'm saying.
What's going on with this transfer market?
The thing is, they bought him for like 20 or something. So it's like
60.
You'd think that even if like you're gonna sell him after, let's be honest, he's been really good for Fulham, and like I said, I stand by it, he improves our midfield drastically. Like you'd think you'd still accept
improvement.
You'd accept 40 million for a 28-year-old.
You could get 40. I see. This is calm, breathe. This is what's so annoying. We could have got Nunes that went to flipping Wolves for 40 mil. And he's a quality player. Okay, let me ask you this. I don't know. I haven't watched enough of him to think he's ready. But do you think he makes a difference in our midfield?
Who?
Paulinho.
Yeah. But I wouldn't pay 60 mil for him. That's my point. Because he's 20, he's 27 now, but going into next season, he's going to be 28. For 60 million, no chance. If you can get him for 45, I might think,
45 and give them Elliot.
Nah, that's too much. No.
I think the most frustrating thing with that link is the fact that he was available, as you said, last season, and he was we had Diaz, Nunes coming from that league, and we just totally didn't even think to look at
and he wanted to come to us as well.
Any player would have wanted to come to us, I'd imagine, after that season, last season. So it's just more, I think that's the more frustrating thing. But I think, again, trying to be positive, at least they're identifying players. They know they need someone there.
Big point, yeah. Absolutely. Kadir says that rather get Caicedo or Rice for an extra 20 million. Well, I think Rice is probably going to go to Arsenal. But I agree with that.
Rice.
Yeah,
anyway.
The Caicedo shout. Absolutely.
They wanted 70 mil for him, didn't they?
There's no chance we can get Caicedo and Jude and other players. So I'm not sure. There was a shout for Ugarte. I've seen this guy all over the timeline from Liverpool fans. I'm not going to sit here and pretend
I
I've
haven't got
watched him
Scooby-Doo,
much.
mate.
Elliot, do you have any insight?
I
on
only have a
Gordon?
basic knowledge of him, to be fair, but he's been linked, hasn't he? So it's going back to my original point. If the players are being linked, there's got to be something where they can acknowledge the fact that midfield. I mean, I think a blind man could be able to tell you that midfielders are needed for this Liverpool team. So it's not really a surprise they're getting linked, but it's nice to see. It's nice to see.
Yeah, and I mean, you're spot on. I think the fact that these names are coming out, whether it's going to be Paulinho or whoever, I want to get your take on another one as well, just before we finish. But I think you're spot on. It's important that we are seeing that they are identifying a position of the defensive midfielder as a sort of maybe not priority, but we need one, which is a positive. But Mason Mount.
Oh no.
I see you're gonna hate me, Shigs. I'm excited by that one.
Let's hear it. Because I'm on the fence. I haven't made my mind up.
Okay,
yeah.
Why, Elliot? Why are you happy we're going for him?
I think I've mentioned a couple of times that going back to the seasons where Klopp was his first couple, he had the midfield base, and it was almost everyone knew what was happening. You had Henderson in the deeper role, you had Lallana and Wijnaldum. I think if he signs Mount and he keeps with this 4-3-3, he wants to go back to that and have Mount as Lallana. And I think that could be exciting because I think Mount is good at going box to box. I think that's quite an underrated kind of trait he has. I think he'd be quite exciting. And he's got the energy as well for that midfield. But I think it's also a bit worrying maybe for Elliot if Mount does get signed.
Okay.
Shigs, what's your caveat, mate? Why are you so unsure about it?
That guy don't fill me with no kind of bizarre.
Is that based on this season or just in general? Because
just in general,
let's remember,
bro,
Shigs, before this season, I remember Chelsea fans were telling us that he's world class.
Yeah, but those were the deluded ones. Like anybody that's been a real Chelsea supporter never likes me, and I've you know what, I try and be, when people say they don't really like a player, I try and, because I don't watch football matches with commentary on. I turn the commentary down so I can just watch the game. So I did he play? I don't think he played in the Leicester game, did he?
He dropped out the squad completely.
Exactly. You know what
that's
happened
not a fitness thing. That's because of the contract situation. It's been reported.
Yeah, well, the team won 3-1 without him.
I think you may be clutching
I know. I'm reaching there. But
there's gotta be
agendas after agenda. I'm afraid.
I'm trying to think of what he will bring to the team that we don't have already.
Pace, power, energy
is something which everyone's crying out for in that midfield.
You really think Mount has got that in his locker?
Absolutely. Do you see that pass for the Champions League final? It was absolutely fantastic ball.
I wouldn't doubt Mason Mount.
I'm open to change my mind, but he's not
English as well. I think is kind of people will.
But what salary is he on? Well, it doesn't matter. It's not my money.
No, the thing is, the thing about his salary is I think it's important to remember he's asking for over 200 grand a week to stay. No. Listen, 120. To stay at Chelsea. If he moves clubs, he's not gonna get anywhere near that. He's just saying that because maybe he wants to leave, or maybe he feels like, I don't know, he just needs a new deal. That's why he's asking for that much at Chelsea. If he comes to Liverpool, probably going to be 120 to maybe 150 max. He'll be on nowhere near 200 grand. But my take on Mount is, I said I'm a bit on the fence about it. I think he's a good player. I wouldn't say anything more than good. Still young, still at that sort of profile that we look for when we bring players in.
How many years is this his last? Is he
one more after this? A year in the summer. So like this summer, that's why they're going to sell him, because he's not signing a new deal. So that you're probably looking at 40 million maybe for him. With how we do deals, you'd probably say, okay, we're probably going to pay 28 up front or something into the rest of the installments.
28 plus Curtis Jones.
Oh, Shigs, why are you always trying to exchange a player, bro?
To get the deadwood out, bro.
Why would Chelsea want Curtis?
I don't know. Just try and put that in there. I don't know.
They've already got Gallagher, they've got Chukwuemeka, they've got all these other players that they probably need to move on.
The Deadwood out, man. Yeah, listen, we give you P take this guy. Like,
you know, on FIFA, yeah, when you're off, I don't know if you play career modes, when you offer like a stupid deal, they literally just walk out the office. As soon as we say like Curtis Jones, they're gone. They're shutting the door. They're not coming back. Kadir says give them Gomez. I mean, I don't think they'll take him either. But let me get back to my Mason Mount point. I said on my personal Twitter that is this a potential signing that gets me really excited, like Thiago did, like Diaz did? No. Is this a signing that I'd welcome as long as it's part of like a free midfielder mini?
Yeah,
rebuild?
okay,
Yeah.
all right, cool.
As long as it's Mason Mount,
maybe
Jude Bellingham or somebody else, I'm cool with it.
Let me ask you this.
Go on.
If Mount was the only midfielder,
No. You're taking the mick with that one. No. Elliot, do you agree?
No, I think absolutely not. I think the most important midfielder will be. I'd even argue this is more important than a Bellingham is a Fabinho
replacement.
Maybe not replacement, but someone who can
But
play
yeah,
the
okay,
role.
Keep him on his toes for a bit.
Yeah.
Unless they cash in on Fabinho, because I think
They
there's
got
an argument.
mentioned, didn't they?
Yeah, there's an argument to be had that, you know, we've not been as ruthless with our players as other managers have and other clubs have, and maybe we need to start learning from our mistakes. And when players hit a certain age, you cash in. But I'm not against, like you say, Fabinho staying around and another one coming in, rotating between the two, keeping on his toes a bit.
I think it was needed, as we can all probably hindsight's wonderful thing. It was definitely needed at the start of this season.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, fellas.
Sure. Yeah, but guys, thank you for tuning in. We've just about made it to, well, it's coming up to an hour, so I appreciate you stuck with us all the way. Please make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get a little quick update of what we are on. I believe we've got a couple of new subscribers in the stream, so thank you very much if you are new. We are 760 right now, so please make sure you smash that button, guys. We are trying to get to 1,000 as quickly as we can. Big up to everyone that's come in. Asim from Born and Red. Make sure you check those guys out as well. Massive friends of us at the Anfield Talk. Everyone that's tuned in, Mo, Kadir, Mohammed, everyone, Big Beast, Redbird. We appreciate it because, you know, these streams are hard to do at the minute, man. We want to bring you streams like when we were so excited about battering Man United and all those games. But, you know, we've got to soldier through when times are tough, aren't we? So big up for everybody. Thank you very much, Kadir, for your lovely words. And we will see you next time. Take care, guys.
Take care.